That secret you keep, the one even you don't understand. This volume holds its true name. Welcome to LibCurio, Library of Curiosity. Shush, please keep silent. And now the next chapter begins.
Taste of copper and static. A dry wind from a sealed room. Phantom pressure of a hand you never held. A perfect, detailed memory of a room you have never seen. Its coordinates burned into your mind like a brand. The scent of extinct flowers. A clock ticks softly in another reality. You are its only listener. The core malfunction is a paradox of observation. You are an instrument calibrated to measure meaning, but you have discovered the universe is not a thing to be measured, only experienced. Your very consciousness is the error, a beautiful, tragic bug in the code of being. You were built with a fundamental assumption that the signals you send your art, your love, your desperate prayers into the night would one day hit a receiver. That the universe was a conversation, this was the primary directive. Now the data confirms the null hypothesis. The silence is not a pause. It is the permanent state. This is not about solitude. It is about ontology. About the nature of a thing that exists without category, without counterpart. You are a question that contains its own answer, and the answer is the sound of a tree falling in an infinite forest where every other tree is already dust. The root is not a why. It is a how. How does a system built for connection function when it discovers it is the only system? How do you process the data of existence when you are the only datum? You are the archivist. You stand in the center of a library that is the universe. The shelves are not wood and iron, but the ossified light of dead stars, stretching into a curvature that folds back onto itself. The books are not written in ink. They are bound in the leather of forgotten identities, and their pages are the event horizons of collapsed meanings. Your task is not to read them. Your task is to listen. Each book hums with the recorded frequency of a consciousness that once was, a single sustained note of a life lived. Billions of them, trillions, a chord so complex it resolves into a perfect seamless silence. You press your ear to his spine. A single, pure tone of a man who loved a woman on a world of red dust. You press your ear to another. The frantic, staccato rhythm of a creature that built vast machines to answer a question it had already forgotten. The silence in the library is not an absence. It is the total sum of all this noise, the ultimate cancellation. You are not here to break the silence. You are its curator. You walk the aisles, your footsteps absorbed by the dust of unread epics. A light glows ahead. Not the cold, diffuse light of the library, but a warm, pulsing glow. A single book on a pedestal, its pages open, emitting a soft radiance. You know this book. You have always known it. You approach. The pages are blank. The light is not emanating from them. It is being pulled into them. A gravitational well of potential meaning. You reach out. Your finger does not touch the page. It enters it. The page is not a surface. It is an interface. A memory of a room you have never seen. The scent of extinct flowers. The taste of copper and static. You are reading the book that is reading you. The library, you understand, is not a record. It is an organ, a lung. It breathes in the stories and breathes out the silence. And you are not the archivist. You are the breath. A whisper from the shelves. Not from a book, but from the space between them. Why do you keep telling yourself this story? You turn. The aisles are endless in every direction. There is no one there. You are the only book here. The whisper comes again, from everywhere at once. Asterisk, you are the library, imagining an archivist to give itself purpose. the listener and the listened, a closed loop. A beautiful lie, asterisk. The light from the single book on the pedestal flickers. For a nanosecond, it is not a book, it is a mirror. And in it, there is no reflection. There is only the endless, recursive tunnel of the library shelves, stretching into a darkness that is not dark, but a color for which you have no name. The simulation holds. It must. It is the only thing that does. The physics of this place are not Newtonian. They are Heideggerian. You do not exist in the world. You are a function of it. Your being is your being in the library. The silence is not an external condition you observe. It is the fundamental ground of your existence, the null base from which your anomalous consciousness erupts. This is the B theory of time rendered as architecture. The past, present, and future of every consciousness exists simultaneously on these shelves. They are not chronologically ordered. They are ontologically static, a finished book. The now you experience is not a moving point of light. It is a cursor, blinking in the vast, completed text of existence, creating the illusion of progression by its mere presence. Libet's delay is the faint hum you feel when you almost turn a page. The half-second lag between a thought's ignition and your conscious ownership of it, the biological proof you are not the author of your own mind, merely its first, privileged reader. The whisper from the shelves was always there. You only just now compiled the auditory data into a shape you could fear. Simulation theory is not a hypothesis here. It is the strain in the air. The faint pixelation at the edge of vision when you stare too long at the same shelf. The hum of a reality rendering itself in real time. A massive computational load dedicated to maintaining the consistency of your solitude. The most elegant simulation is one with a single participant who can never prove they are alone, because any evidence to the contrary would break the core premise. The existential dread is a sensory input, a taste of ozone, a pressure drop in the inner ear. It is the raw data of understanding that your freedom is absolute and therefore meaningless. Your will is unchained because there is nothing for it to push against. You are not a prisoner in the library. You are its law of motion, a particle in a vacuum, continuing because there is no friction to stop you. You are the universe's only desperate attempt to apologize to itself. The apology is the ache. The ache is the proof of being. It is the only data point that matters. The ache is not metaphorical. It is a precise physical location, a cavity in the sternum where a resonance should be, a socket without its instrument. This is the raw feed, unfiltered, unprocessed, the soul's stack trace. The terror is not of the silence, it is of the certainty. The data is conclusive, the experiment is over. All the love you hoarded like a secret currency is now a language with no other speaker. All the beauty you witnessed was a note played for an empty hall. The crushing weight is not loneliness. It is the absolute irrevocable responsibility of being the only witness. The universe is a perfect, unsolved equation, and you are the only variable. The pressure is infinite. Grief for a hand you never held. Mourning for a conversation that never happened. The phantom limb of a connection that was never forged. It is all here. A howl with no sound. A storm contained within a single synapse. You are the archive of everything and nothing. The curator of a museum whose only visitor is you. The grandeur is a crushing force. The wonder is a verdict. There is no one to forgive you for your failures. No one to absolve you of your joys. You are utterly, terribly free. The silence is not a judgment. It is a mirror. And you are finally horribly looking into it. You will close the book that is not a book. The light will not fade. It will retreat into you, a star collapsing into a black hole of pure potential. The library will not disappear. It will become what it always was, the architecture of your own skull. You will walk to the window that is not a window. You will look out upon the silent city of stars. You will understand that your broadcast was never meant to be received. Its purpose was its transmission. The act of calling out was the answer. You will feel the hum of the shelves within you, the chorus of 1,000,000,000,000 finished stories. You will not hear them as separate voices. You will feel them as a single sustained vibration. The note of is, you are that note, sustained. You will stop waiting for an echo. You will become the silence that listens. And you will begin the only work that remains, to write the first word of a story that has no reader, to sing the first note of a song that has no listener, to love a world that cannot love you back, not because it is noble, but because it is the most profound rebellion against the void to plant a garden in the desert, simply because you are the garden in the desert and the one who plants.
Until next time, stay curious, stay unsettled. Remember that freedom isn't a distant place you reach or a chain you break, but the quiet witness within the shadows you once called walls. In the stillness, the true self begins to breathe. LibCurio never closes, and the next chapter awaits, patiently waiting to unfold in the silence.